You want to know how you end up turning a quiet lake into a fortress guarded by drones and lawyers? Easy. Let a bunch of polo-wearing HOA execs think they can steal it from you. 5 years ago, I bought 200 acres of untouched forest in rural Oregon, nothing but pine hills and a 30-acre lake that looked like something out of a dream. No paved roads, no neighbors, no cell towers, just peace. That lake in the middle, it felt like it belonged to another world, and I made damn sure it stayed that way. I'd made my money early in tech, cashed out after one big win, and all I wanted was solitude. So I built an off-grid cabin on the southern shore, ran solar, dug a well, even set up satellite internet enough to read the news or watch a movie, but not enough to stay plugged in. Most weekends I'd fish kayak or just sit on the dock with a book in hand and not a sound for miles. It was the kind of silence you could feel in your bones. Then came Blackwood Ridge luxury homes with names like Cedar Summit and Hawks Landing, gated manicured, and of course an HOA run by the kind of people who treat neighborhood politics like war games. Their houses went up fast on the western ridge above me, and honestly I figured we'd ignore each other forever. But then Richard Vance showed up. He came knocking in a golf cart with a clipboard and a smile like he practiced it in a mirror. Said he was the president of their HOA and wanted to foster community collaboration. What he really wanted was my lake. First it was small talk, then suggestions of shared access. I said no politely. He came back twice, each time offering more money. His final offer was $1.2 million. I laughed, walked him back to his gate, told him the lake wasn't for sale. Apparently he didn't appreciate that. A few months later I woke up to the sound of engines, big ones. I walked out with my coffee and froze. Bulldozers already clearing a swath through my trees near the northwestern edge where the creek ran out of the lake. I jumped in my truck and drove over. The foreman handed me a permit issued by the county. I thought it had to be a mistake. It wasn't. The permit named Blackwood Ridge HOA as the applicant. Their plan, an eco-resort, cabins, a boat dock, community water recreation on my land. I couldn't believe it. The HOA's claim was wild, they said, because the creek that fed the lake started on their land and flowed into mine. They had partial rights. They convinced the county to reclassify the lake as a regional water asset, citing some obscure statute about shared waterways. No one told me. Not a letter, not a call. So I got a lawyer. Enter Martha Hayes, real estate litigator, sharp as a knife and twice as fast. When I explained the situation, she didn't blink, just grabbed a legal pad and said, "Let's burn them to the ground." She filed an emergency injunction within 48 hours. Bulldozers stopped. I parked a trailer near them and sat out there with a shotgun in plain sight just to make sure no one got ideas. A week later, the HOA sued me, claimed historical access rights and watershed integration. Total nonsense. But they had deep pockets friends in the county office and enough legal ammo to bury me in paperwork. The next 2 years were hell. Court hearing after court hearing, each more ridiculous than the last. Their whole argument hinged on the idea that the creek was natural, that it flowed freely from their land into mine, and that meant shared access. Meanwhile, I was bleeding cash, sold the cabin, moved into a trailer full-time, ate canned food, cut every expense I could. Then Martha called me. I'll never forget what she said. "I found something and it's going to nuke their entire case." Turns out the creek wasn't even real, not naturally anyway. Back in 1957, the original landowners had dug it by hand to redirect runoff for logging. It was man-made. That meant it didn't qualify as a natural waterway, didn't fall under any of the statutes the HOA had used to file that permit. I didn't just own the land, I owned the lake, the water, and the creek that fed it. Game over. Within 6 weeks, the court revoked every permit Blackwood Ridge had filed. Their eco-resort canceled. Bulldozers gone. But just when I thought the storm was over, I got a call from a guy named Elias Grant. Elias was the CEO of a tech company called Aquaprime. They were building a $7 billion microchip plant outside Eugene and needed a new water source, clean, cold, mineral-light water. My lake apparently was perfect. He didn't just want the lake, he wanted to buy the land, the rights, everything. Offered me $50 million. I thought about it, then said no. Instead, Martha and I proposed a lease, 99 years. Full water rights, $32 million per year indexed for inflation. We gave them the land around the lake for environmental control, no public access, no construction, just guarded infrastructure. Within months, my once quiet lake became a high-security industrial site. Aquaprime built fences, motion sensors, drone patrols, access restricted. Even the birds probably had to check in. In Blackwood Ridge, they went into full panic mode. Investors ran. Property values crashed. Some homes dropped by nearly half. Their dream of lakeside living died overnight. Richard Vance tried suing again, this time for interference with community development. It didn't stick. Then the audit started. Turns out Vance had funneled HOA funds into private deals to speed up permit approvals. Bribes, essentially. He got indicted for fraud, stepped down, disappeared. The HOA crumbled. Residents fled. Some houses sat empty for over a year. The ridge turned into a shell of itself, silent, bitter, forgotten. Now, I live in the Bahamas. I check my Oregon bank account once a year, usually on my birthday. Like clockwork, 32 million ping right on schedule. The land is still mine, technically. Aquaprime just leases it. Sometimes I fly back just for fun. The trees are taller now, the lake's still pristine, but the signs around it say, restricted water source, no access. It always makes me smile. See, it was never just about money. It was about the principle, about standing your ground. When someone thinks they can take what's yours just because they wear a nicer watch or know a guy at the zoning board. They tried to steal my lake, and I made sure they regretted it. So yeah, next time someone tells you a man can't win against an HOA, tell them about the guy with the lake, the lawyer, and nothing left to lose. Let me know what you think. Was I right to fight back? Or should I have taken the first offer and walked away? Drop your thoughts in the comments.